In step 7, your objective is similar to step 6, to once again light the LED by pressing push button 1. In the last step, you were introduced to the start priority circuit by using push button 2. In this step, you will learn about the stop priority circuit, which will not allow power to flow into the relay. Before we begin, let's take a moment to cover the new configuration that we will use for this step. Take a look at this diagram. This is similar to the circuit that you will be creating. Look carefully at this circuit. What is different between the start and stop priority circuit? In this case, the stop priority circuit will terminate the activation of the relay even if the start button is pressed. Open your workbook to activity 7.1. For this step, these are the symbols you will use. Think carefully about where push button 2 needs to be placed in order to give stop priority. Pause the video now and begin. Here you can see the completed diagram. In order to give the circuit a stop priority, the second push button must be placed just before the relay. When placed here, power will flow normally through push button 2 unless it is pressed. Even if the start button is pressed as well, power will not flow through to the relay. Open your workbook to activity 7.2. For this step, you will use the diagram in activity 7.1 to help you to draw the wiring diagram for activity 7.2. Pause the video now and begin. Activity 7.2 is fairly straightforward. The wiring is similar to activity 6.2 from the previous step, but the placement of push button 2 will have one very big difference. When placed just before the relay, it controls all of the power flowing into the relay coil, not just the self-holding circuit's power. For activity 7.3, you will use your previous diagrams from activities 7.1 and 7.2 to physically wire the circuit board. Pause the video now and begin. How did you do? This is how the board should look when wired. Just as with activities 7.1 and 7.2, the second push button is configured to give the stop button priority when both are pressed. Here you can see the normal operation. Pressing push button 1 and push button 2 individually activates and deactivates the self-holding circuit on the relay. This time, however, when push button 2 is held, the relay will not activate when push button 1 is pressed. Congratulations! You have just completed step 7.